Hello and welcome to round two of the exhibition match of Grand Arena. Now, initially, I wasn't going to do a video this time since I've been busy traveling the last couple of days, but I decided to make an exception for my opponent this time. So I have my opponent currently is Eyes Peer from the guild. Let's see. It's from the guild Starforce Jeddah. Now, we did face these guys earlier this month in TW, and if I remember correctly, they beat us in they beat my guild in TW as well. So it's a very TW focused guild, and just looking at the mods of Ice Spear, all the mods are on point, and this guy is a really good player. He did reach out to me a little earlier today, wishing me all the best and saying that he follows my videos and all that, and is looking forward to a really good and exciting match. So it this is one of those rare really good matches where you're not just facing a good roster, but you're facing a good opponent who knows what they're doing. All the modding is on point. All the stats are on point, and it's a very evenly matched opponent, which is why I thought it'll make a really good video, and I did not want to miss it. So I managed to make some time out and make the video. So the video might be relatively quick, but at least I think it'll be a good to record my offense and defense over here. Let's quickly show you the status of the group after the first round. So at the end of the first round, we had the four who are left are who have a win each are Andrew Ye, Shade War, Ice Spear, and me. We, as expected, the two 5.2 and 5.5 million guys, Baruba and Dartovius, guessing from their score, they weren't really serious about Grand Arena, so they probably just set auto defense or didn't attack at all, which is why they probably have zero wins against them. And then we have so my current opponent, like I mentioned, is Ice Peer, and the matchup looks pretty even if you take a look at it. We're almost similar in GP, similar in Zetas, almost dead on in G12 characters, and mods also are more or less similar. Yes, slightly more depth in terms of 10 plus and 15 plus speed mods, but overall, very similar modding structure. But if you take a look at if you go one level below and take a look a little bit deeper, you'll see that if you look at the GA stats, you'll see that there's a very different style of playing that iSpear has compared to me. Offensive wins, both of us have almost the same. He's got a slight advantage, 246 versus my T233. So my stats are on the left and my opponents are on the right. But if you look at the undefeated wins, I only have 36 and my opponent has 82, which means and my wins are less because I tend to go defense heavy, so I tend to not do as many undersized party wins. But my opponent has got 82 undersized wins. That means that initially implies to me that my opponent does go defense light and tries to go offense heavy, and thus is able to get a lot of undersized win. Similarly, if you take a look at defense wins, I've got 86 and my opponent only has 47, which means that my opponent has probably had lesser holes on his defense, which further implies that as opposed to my defense heavy style, my opponent has got an offense heavy style and his defense is light, which is why it's got fewer defensive holes. So this information was really useful to me in devising my own defense. So I know that my opponent probably will not set a heavy defense. Will probably save his Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan on offense to take out my team, and I can afford to set my defense in such a way so as to minimize the banners out there for my opponent, and maximize my own banners, because it's going to be an efficiency game and I need to set a reasonably heavy defense but still save a lot of good offense and save a lot of teams which regenerate a lot of protection and health to beat my opponent more efficiently than he beats me. So that's going to be the goal of this particular match. Both of us are going to clear each other, no doubt about that, and both of us are probably going to one shot each other as well, all teams. But the question is who's going to do it more efficiently. All right, let's go over to the match. Let's get started with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at my defenses first. and then we'll go ahead and check out my opponent. So it's just been a couple of hours since the actually just an hour since the attack phase opened. Ideally, I would have waited for a little more time, at least 12 to 14 hours. Ideally, I would have waited for my opponent to attack first, and then I would have gone in just because that gives you more information. But I really have no time tomorrow, so I thought I'll just get this done as soon as possible and put the video out. So on defense, just like last time, I've kept both my Revens in front, my Darth Revan at the top without Sith Trooper and with the Marauder, and my Jedi Knight Revan in the bottom section. What I have done is I've changed up a little bit of the other setting. Um, so I've kept instead of a Karth team over here, I've kept a Rex, Rizalbar, and Mission team. So Rex Wampa is the team which is used usually quite a lot. But Rex Salbar mission also is a very good combination for the same reasons. And since I decided to use Wampa on offense with Basti, and Rex is really terrible on offense because he ends up losing a lot of protection, health, and even in an undersized party, he ends up costing you banners. So I just decided to keep this team over here to just cause some nuisance on defense. And below over here, I have my Jedi Knight Revan team, and I've kept my Geo team over here at the front. Now, Geos, they are proving to be a relatively decent defensive team, especially with the Unicorn Brood Alpha, which gives a pre-taunt with the Brute. The other Geos are, they can form a pretty formidable team, and it requires something heavy to take it out. I believe Rex Wampa can take these guys out pretty effectively just because Daze neutralizes them, and Wampa has a lot of AoE, which can get rid of these guys fast. But I'm hoping that that counter is not as well known right now, and my opponent probably, hopefully, doesn't use that. But Rex Wampa Hermit Yoda is a really strong and solid counter versus these guys. I've used the prepared team against these guys as well, and probably I'll do the same thing this time as well, since my opponent has kept this team on defense as well. But otherwise, a lot of people are using Treya or Padme to take those guys out, the Geos. But I think that's a little bit of an overkill against the Geos, if you ask me. Um, in terms of modding, obviously Sunfac is modded for a lot of protection, damage on Spy, uh, and on Soldier. In addition, what I've also done is on so that's Spy. Let's see if I can identify Soldier. Yeah. So on Soldier, in addition, what I've also done is I've really maximized his crit chance. I just kept his crit damage at 186%, but maximized his crit chance at about 90% because he gains 50% turn meter on crit. And so you want him to be going often. So you want to really maximize his crit chance. And on Sunpack, like I mentioned, he's loaded with health and protection. And Poggle, even though a lot of people seem to think he's the weak link over here, Poggle, I believe, is quite important in this team. I've bumped up his potency to 134%. His basic has a chance to apply ability block, 60% chance only, but it does apply ability block for 2 turns. And since these guys assist every time any geo uses a basic or any ability at all, you can very effectively, over a period of a few turns, apply ability block on all your opponents if just by having Poggle have high potency. So I believe Poggle can be really effective in helping to control and keep the enemy in check. Um, and Brood Alpha, right now I've modded him for a little bit of speed, but you could go two ways. If you've got a high enough start Brood Alpha, you could go with protection and health, just so that since the stats scale to Brute, you could have Brute be really really tanky as well, or you could also mod this guy for offense. If he's got really high offense, your brute is going to be, countering almost every single time unless he's dazed. So having a lot of offense on him also helps to make this team formidable. So initially, I was thinking of using this team on offense, just because of the flexibility that you have in taking out opponents, the anti-buff ability that these guys have. But the more I think about it, the more I think that it's better to keep these guys on defense, just because it can cost you easily. It can cost you banners on offense just because of the equalization of health and protection. So even if you end if you're able to almost end with full health and full protection, if on the last hit your opponent manages to land a hit on say Brute or Sunfac who's taunting, and these guys they equalize at the last moment. That means immediately you drop from 60 banners to 55 banners because the health and protection gets equalized, and whatever damage has been done on Sunfac or Brute gets equalized in protection amongst all the characters. So your 60 banners effectively becomes 55 almost immediately, and you end up it ends up costing you banners. Similarly, if you're and facing against someone who's hitting under health and protection, then the 55 banners will then become 50 banners because both health and protection would be neutralized, and everyone would be a little bit below max health and max protection, and it'll end up costing you banners. So in order to unless you end up with a really perfect scenario where you don't allow the enemy to take a turn similar to what the troopers do and end with full health and full protection, or you if you end up saving brutes the brute alpha's heal ability, 35% health and protection heal ability till the end, and manage to use her at the right time, only in those two scenarios will you really end with full health and full protection. Otherwise it's really difficult to do that with these guys on offense, and that's why I decided to keep these guys on defense over here. Let's see what's at the back over here. I've kept the the Ragtag Sith team, which hits below protection and health, and Dooku lead is always formidable as well. I've kept my Nest Django over here as well, which I'm hoping causes some trouble after they've exhausted some meta teams out front. And then out here, I've kept my EP team again for the same reason. It's very difficult for them to maximize protection and health unless you throw in Thrawn with them. So I just kept them in there with Maul to apply days. And then I've kept my sisters team. Usually I keep my sisters out front, but they can be a really tough team to take out if you've already exhausted a lot of the meta team options. So I'm hoping that my opponent uses Treya on on one of these teams up front, so that using it against his sisters, it might get a little more tougher. All right, so that's my defense. Now, as expected, my opponent did go, as we saw from the stats, my opponent did go relatively light on defense. He did not have any of the Revens up front. He just has his crew and boss at the top. Excuse me. And sisters team and the Geo team over here. His Brute Alpha is weak, and he has left out Poggle and Captain Dooku over there, and probably in an attempt to um, go under health and protection. And the Dooku is pretty fast, so he'll probably hide everyone except Sunfac, and then that'll allow the Geos to do more damage. So I'm first going to attack the top wall, take that out, see what's there behind, and then I'm going to attack the one below. So I do want to save my best teams for the back because my opponent, Ice Bear, he did say that he did mention on Discord to me that he's going to keep a few surprises for me. So he may be tricking me into thinking that I'm going light and then end up wasting all my meta teams in front. Then he might have both the Revens at the back. So I'm going to save my Padme, my CLS, my Treya, and my General Grievous team. This time I decided to keep General Grievous in offense, just in case he has Jedi Knight Revan or Darth Revan at the back. And I'm going to try to take out these four in the front with something else. So let me clear this zone in the front first, and I'm not going to go. I'm not going to risk going undersized with any of these until I see what's at the back. I think the additional risk of going undersized is just not worth it. So I'm going to start with the crew team. I'm going to use JTR against it and take it out. Let's see, I think I already have the template saved. All right, so this is my go-to JTR team. I'm going to use this against crew and take the team out. Excuse me. All right. Let's apply some days and let's hide everyone. And let's work on officer. Take that guy out. Now apply days on everyone. Let's stun Kylo and keep working on this guy. Okay. Let's keep the days on Kylo Ren unmasked because I don't want him to stun anyone. Well, he does have ability block as well, but that's fine. All right, now let's get rid of Phasma and then we will let's recover some protection. And then let's get rid of yeah, let's do Phasma first and then we can target the others. Okay, now let's stun this guy and go after Crew. Okay, now it's should be simple enough. Let's hope we can get the heal ability from Holdo to recover some protection on these guys. Okay, no, we don't have the heal available. That's fine. Let's just finish these guys off. Um, I think except for Holdo and RT, the others must be yeah. Now I think even RT is full health, full protection, and now let's finish it off. 59. Yeah, only Holdo had a little bit left. Okay. My goal will be to get as close to 60 in every single match as possible, and obviously one shot everything. Now the Bosk team, they are pretty tanky. I was initially going to use my troopers against them. Bosk is reasonably fast, 278. My start will outspeed him, but he's modded everyone for protection. Um, so if you see with the protection rework that these guys have had, Cad Bane is at yeah 52k, another 25, another 50% bonus from Bosk lead. So I think I'll just go with crew lead over here and finish these guys off. And crew also, I'm going to go full squad. I'm not going to take a risk with undersized yet. At the back, if I see some weak teams, then I can probably use the undersized squad. But I'm not going to take a risk with going undersized in the front wall. All right, let's stun this guy and let's pass this over to Kylo. And start working on them one by one. And then let's work on CAD. Well, actually, let's finish off Boba since he can um, get some big hits out there. All right. Let's wait for the stun to come so that we can stun Bosk again. Dengar is going to cause some problems with the thermals. It's always irritating. But let's see if we can't gain some full protection and health back on some of these. Let's pass this over to first order Fox. All right, we're close to full health and full protection on everyone. I'm going to keep the taunt on crew. And then I'm going to stun this guy just because I don't want thermals coming and screwing my um, yeah, I don't want the thermals to cause any problems because I'm close to full health and full protection on everyone. I don't want to spoil that. Okay, I think things are going well. Right, now we can take care of this guy. So Probably going to end up with full health and full protection, which is good. Nobody else needs healing. Now we can just, yeah, just take care of this. So good, 60 banners over here. Um, all right, 60 banners, 59 banners. So we're going pretty good so far. Let's see what's at the back, and then we'll know what kind of surprises my opponent has left for me. All right. So there is a Grievous team and a Kira team with Nest. So that's going to be interesting. Um, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my Treya for the Grievous team. It's relatively weak. He's got Chopper in there, um, but I'm going to save my Treya there. I'm not too worried about that. And for the Kira Nest team, I'm going to um, let's see. I could probably use CLS or um, maybe General Grievous. I could probably use Grievous against that, or maybe my Padme team. Yeah, Padme actually would be a good counter over there. All right, so let's save Treya, Padme, CLS for now, and clear this zone off, and then we can see what's behind. So this is a really good, well-modded Night Sister team. If I see the mods, Asajj is modded really fast, 222. Not modded for damage though, which I'm surprised about, but modded at 222 speed. Um, and then, yeah, the Spirit is really fast as well. I think he's just modded everyone for speed, 274. Again, not much damage, only 150% critical damage, but these two are effectively 310 speed or so. Zombie is really tanky. Full health sets, 56k health, and yeah, 56k health. So that's going to be formidable. And then we have Asajj. We've got Talzin, who's modded for critical damage and critical chance, but surprisingly very little critical chance, only 39%. Um, I would have gone offense set on Talzin, but reasonably fast, 209. So 240 speed effectively. And Daka has got a Zeta, so that's going to make things tricky as well. So since I want to save my, mm, well, let's see. Do I want to save my, well, the Grievous team is not that big of a threat behind. So maybe I should use my Treya for this because these guys are pretty well modded. Um, yeah, and the Grievous team is not that much of a threat, I think. It's only single Zeta. What Zeta is this? It's on the unique. Okay, so he's going to start annihilating people. Hmm. Can I take this out with my Basti and Wampa? Or you know what? I think I'm going to go with Basti Wampa against the Night Sisters. Um, this might be a mistake, but but I think Days Wampa's Days and the healing from Hermit Yoda should be able to sustain this team. Plenty of cleanses as well, and the AoE Days is something which really helps to control Asajj lead teams. So this could be a risk, but let me just go ahead and see how this team does against Night Sisters. All right, so they're going to go first. No, I think because of the Basti speed bump, I was able to go first. All right, let's land some days, and then we can heal with Yoda. Let's go after let's heal everyone. Let's done this one. Okay. Let's apply some buff immunity, which is great. Now let's see if we can't finish off one of these. I think Dhaka. Let's go for Dhaka. Okay, so buff immunity is doing its job. Buff immunity is gone, but let's continue to work on Dhaka with the Basti. All right, ability block. Let's land another ability block over here. Let's keep working on Dhaka. Healing immunity. And some more days. Basti is a good counter because none of the stuns land. Let's recover some health and protection. Let's just use a basic over here. Heal everyone. Okay, let's pass the buffs on to Wampa and hopefully we'll get a good AoE next time. Let's take out Dhaka. Let's use this on Paris. Okay. All right. Let's wait to get a turn. Buff immunity. Heal some more. Okay, so let's get rid of Dhaka now. I'm going to just give it to Wampa and finish that off. Healing immunity. Okay. She's gone. Let's get rid of Asajj. And let's just work on Spirit now. So a little bit messy, but I was able to save my Treya. Okay, let's apply buff immunity, stun her, and let's continue. There, a much better result than I expected. So this is a great counter team against, just because of the AoE days that Wampa has, it's a great counter team against Night Sisters, even well-modded Night Sisters. 55 banners against Night Sisters, I'll take it if I don't have to use Treya. Unfortunately, I lost Barris. That cost me about 2 or 3 points, but I think that's fine. I think most of the units ended up with full health and full protection. Um, all right, so that was good. Now against the Basti Wampa team is a good combination to use against Geos as well. Like I mentioned, you've got AoE days, which prevents all the Geos from assisting and healing. You've got you've got a lot of counter chance as well, and the AoE itself is the heavy AoE that really helps to counter these guys because single target attacks are not as effective against Geos just because they equalize the health and protection and heal a lot. But a series of well-timed AoEs can take them out pretty effectively. But against this team, what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to use my prepared squad. I have used it with success once before, and this brood looks a little weak. So and he doesn't have the does he have the Zera? He doesn't have the Zera. So the brood alpha looks weak. So I think my prepared squad should be able to do the job over here. And I'm again going to go in with a full squad. No undersized yet. Let's make sure I select the right one. And then see what's at the back, and then I can decide what to take. There we go, the prepared squad. So I'd showcased a video just yesterday which shows how the prepared squad is able to take down geos. And it's it's a pretty effective counter, but I've only tried it out once. I want to see if it's consistent, if you're still able to win against it. I think because this brood alpha is weak and no zeta, it should be okay. All right, let's see. So he's able to call the brute. Just going to keep taunting. And so we'll just have to get through brute. Let's pass the prepared on to Vandor. And let's get prepared on Han as well. And let's get rid of brute first, and then we can get rid of the other guys. Taunt again. So because of all these multi-attacks, um, your L3 ends up taking a lot of turns because of the attacks against all these characters, all your allies. Okay, so I'm going to finish off Brute with this hit. And now I need to get rid of Sunfac, or at least try to get rid of Brute Alpha when I get the chance. And at the same time, I'm going to um, keep piling up the offense on these guys. All right, let me pick up the pace a little bit. Initially, it will be slow, but hopefully we'll generate enough damage to pull through. Okay. So they do less damage, about 25% less damage because of Vandor's unique. Okay, so let's call a mass assist and finish off Brute. All right, so now this battle is going to be extremely easy. Let's get rid of Soldier. Let's heal up. Yeah, let's. Everyone is already healed up. Okay, I think we should end with full health and full protection on everyone. All right, plenty of time, 2 minutes almost. Okay, that takes care of him. Let's get rid of Spy, and then we can handle Dooku. Let's pass this over to L3 so she keeps taunting. I'm going to use the basic with the Kira so that she dazes him. The daze didn't land. That's fine. All right, big hit to finish it off. Full health and full protection. So that's the thing with the prepared team. It takes time to build up your offense, but they've got tons of survivability. They've got a lot of protection regeneration. Vandor's unique reduces the damage on opponent as well. And L3's taunt is extremely sustainable. Even if just because there's no days on the Geo team. Anytime that they have these multi attacks on the allies of L3, she ends up getting tons of turn meter and she ends up taunting a lot or healing the team. So tons of survivability, and in this case, I never even had to use Vandor's revives. But as you saw, he was prepared throughout, and in case any of the big attacks took out uh, Kira or L3 or any of the other guys, Lando or Han, they would be revived almost immediately, and Vandor would have got prepared almost immediately again. So tons of survivability, tons of damage because the damage of both actually Han's damage is escalating with time as long as he has protection up, and speed also is escalating with time. Plus, the damage on this team is really bumped up by the amount of prepared which is there on that squad. So if all five members have prepared, then Young Han's special deals a lot of damage, a ton of damage, and Young Lando's basic deals a ton of damage as well. So two high damaging attackers and a really wonderful tank and a reviver over there. It's a really good package, the prepared team. I've been using them on defense so far, but it's a really solid, guaranteed 60 banner team on offense as well, especially as a counter to some of these newer teams that we are seeing. Okay, let's see what's behind over there, and then we can decide what to take for the last four teams. All right, this is a good surprise. Okay, so we have really weak teams at the back, all four of them. So as expected, my opponent has gone really, really light on defense, and that seems to have worked for them in the past, I believe. But I think I have enough offense saved up to underman some of these teams and go really, really and do a good job against and taking these out. I've got my CLS, Treya, General Grievous, and Padme left, and those are the four teams that I'll be taking in here. Most likely, I'm going to be undermanning all four. So let me decide what is the best ones to use against each of these. So definitely Treya against Grievous. I'm going to go in with my trio and my Sith trio and Thrawn, just because the Sith trio have got no way of recovering health and protection, and Thrawn helps them do that a little bit. So that's going to be the first undersized party against Grievous, and hopefully this should do the job. Well-timed fracture should help control the team as well. So I'm going to pass this over to Treya to isolate Magna Guard, and then let's wait till we dispel before we fracture anyone. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now let's just go ahead and fracture Chopper. And let's keep working on let's work on this guy because we're planning to annihilate Grievous. So let's keep working on this guy. Let me land some days on him so that he doesn't cause any problem. Okay. So I'm deliberately not going to get anyone below 100%. Well, I'm not going to get Grievous below 100% health just because he'll end up marking the opponents, and they will uh, they will end up yeah, I won't be able to annihilate with my Nihilus if I do that. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Let's keep working on this guy. And annihilate should come up in the next turn. Okay, I don't really want to kill anyone. Um, let's give this to Thrawn so that he recovers a little bit. So this ended up being a little messy, but let's see if we can't recover some protection. So he has pain, but yeah, it's not going to make a difference. All right, 57. That's fine. Lost 3 banners, but got one undersized victory. Now, one important thing to do is to keep checking up on the feats, because especially if you're working to complete some feats, um, one thing to remember is that your feats, especially if it's part of a multi-series, it will you need to. Okay, let's go ahead and claim this one. So, um, so if it's part of a multi-series of feats like the Know Thy Enemy one, where it's one of three, if you complete, if you make this 6 of 5, for example, um, if you have more than 5 undersized squad before you claim it, you might lose the credit that you get for the additional win, undersized win that you got. So as soon as you finish your undersized squad um, feat, make sure you go in here and claim it, and then go back into battle to finish the other one. That way, the any additional undersized squads that you have will count towards the next feat. So I still have one more left, so I'm going to go back and finish one more undersized squad, and then I'm going to come back and claim that. So let's go ahead and do that. So which team do I want to go after next? I think the next toughest team is this one. Um, yeah, or is it this one? Now these ones, what am I going to take against them? I've got CLS, I've got General Grievous, and I have Padme. I think I can use Padme against this team. Mm, probably Padme, or should I go CLS? Let me try Padme. And this also, I think I can go undersized. So yeah, maybe I take out 3PO. Oh, you know what? I'll just go ahead with the team as is. There is Nest in there. Mm, well, maybe I don't really need 3PO. Let me just go with these guys. I think these guys should be enough to do the job. Okay, so the Nest is modded for tenacity. Let's get some protection up on everyone. Some more protection up. Okay, no debuffs are going to land. Let's finish off these guys one by one. All right, dispel. Now let's work on Nest. Let's finish her off first. I don't want to save her for the end. All right, now it should be pretty straightforward. Let's finish off Zalbar. Okay, healing immunity, that's fine. Now we can finish mission. All right, let's get some more protection up. 11 stacks, so mission is gone. And 14 stacks, so Kira will be gone as well. Okay, so yeah, 60. I think I lost a little bit on Annie. Okay, not bad. I've been getting mostly 57 to 60, with the exception of the Night Sister team where I got 55. Now only the Ewok and the Trooper team down below. And I've got my CLS and I've got my Grievous. Um, all right. Probably CLS against Evox because they do have a lot of Zetas. Um, and then Grievous against the Troopers. Yep, let's do that. So let's get our rebels in order. So I have a 3PO, so let me use him. Oh, before I do that, let me go ahead and claim my feat. Like I mentioned, since I'm going in undersized over here, I want to get credit for that. And let's go ahead and claim this 5 of 5. And you can see over here, uh, know thy enemy 2 of 3 is win 8 Grand Arena battles with an undersized squad. So the next 2 undersized battles that I do will count towards these 8. But if I hadn't claimed it, they wouldn't have counted. So that's an important thing to remember as you do your Grand Arena matches. All right, let's go ahead and finish the Ewoks battle. I'm going to take in these guys. Yep, there should be enough. Okay, let's finish off Elder first and then we can work on the others. And who do we go after next? Wicket. Um, Paplu and Logray. Let's get rid of Logray. Okay, now it should be simple enough. Okay, does everyone have full health and full protection? A little bit left on CLS. I think it's full. Okay, 61. Yep, full health, full protection on everyone. And we got credit for one undersized party as well. Let's see the last one. Troopers. Let's take a Grievous against that. This also, I think I can go undersized. Yeah, there's a lot of buff dispel, which is great. Do I have any healers over here? Which other separatists do I have? Now let's just go in with Newt. I think B1 should be able to do enough to heal these guys. Um, yep, buff immunity is good against troopers. Maybe I go in with Magna Guard instead of Newt. Yeah, because Newt can't heal, and yeah, let's actually let's just take Newt. No, can't decide. Um, let's just go in with Magna Guard. Um, I don't think it'll make a difference. Okay, so let's land some buff immunity on everyone. And let's keep healing up Magna Guard. Um, let's go with the stun. And let's keep healing up Magna Guard. Let's get rid of range. And then Stark. And let's heal up B2. And simple enough. So I have modded my my B1 for plenty of offense, which is why you saw the team really melt away pretty easily. I think it's close to 5,000 offense, and B1 is going to be I've just got Grievous to G13. B1 is probably going to be one of my next ones for G13, just because of the crazy offense boosts that he gets. I probably might do Wampa before B1, but I'll probably do B1 after that. So unfortunately, since Grievous took a turn, there's a little bit of protection loss in both Magna Guard and B1. Yeah, maybe that's the reason probably should have taken Newt, because Newt wouldn't have had reduction, but that's fine. 60 banners still, so I think only one of them lost full protection. All right, so more or less got full 60 banners everywhere with the exception of two or three matches. Let's see how many points we have ended with. So we have 1912, which I think is good. Anything over 1912, anything over 1910 in an efficiency game is pretty good. So let's calculate how much my opponent needs. So you get 720 points for setting your defense, 720 points for setting your off for clearing the zones. And for 8 teams, he needs to get 472 points um, to beat me, which is exactly 59 banners per match. So he needs to get 59 banners per match in every single of his matches, and in one of them he needs to get 60 to be exactly at 1913. So that is going to be a tough job, especially against teams like this Darth Revan. It's going to be difficult to get 59 banners over here, and if you do get if you do get close to 55, 56, that means there's additional 3 or 4 banners that you have to make up in with other teams. So which is going to be tough. The Jedi Knight Revan team also, even if he decides to mirror it, I think he's probably going to mirror both my Revans, Darth Revan against my Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan against my Jedi Knight Revan. Even if he mirrors it, 58, 59 is probably reasonable to expect from that. Geos probably might use Treya against that. And yeah, I've got Dooku over here who hits under protection. We've got Nest. So these are relatively tough teams. And I think maintaining a 59 banner efficiency against these sisters, especially, it's not going to be an easy job. So I'm hoping I have this in the bag, but but let's see. I'm gonna wait till I post the video because I don't want my opponent to see what's at the back. I want them to end up wasting some good teams over here in the front, and then get the surprise at the back. So I'm gonna probably wait till my opponent has cleared the front 2 zones before I post the video. But but yeah, that's the second round. And I think it was a really interesting match because my opponent really knows what they're doing there. The modding was really good. Their speeds were good. I was hoping for a little tougher defense, but looking at my opponent, I knew that looking at the stats, I knew that they would probably go offense heavy. But yeah, that there you go. That's the end of the second round. I'll give you guys an update on what the final results are in the comments in the video whenever my opponent has had a chance to attack, and also I'll give a recap at the end of the third round video when I make it. All right, this has been a pleasure. I will catch you guys in a couple of days when I record my third Grand Arena match. Till then, I will see you guys later. Enjoy your gaming.